What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Warehouse Series. So today we're going to be helping out a new Discord member. I hope what I talk about in this video helps you. So we're going to jump right into it. Anything that you don't understand, you can instant message me, private message me on Discord, or you could just ask in the comment sections under the pictures that you put out. So right here, we're going to show this one right here. For right now, I'll get to the dots in a second, but main thing that I noticed throughout your pallets is you're not starting from the perimeter of the pallet. You definitely want to utilize the whole pallet. When you don't utilize the whole pallet, you're going to get tall, skinny pallet with a very high cube. So if you have a 64 cube, which is the highest in our pallet or in our building, and I'm not utilizing that whole pallet, it's very possible that I'm going to have a 70 cube pallet. So I'm adding on higher than I need to go. So what I want you to do is fill out the bottom of these boards. Fill out the pallet, build from the corners in, fill out the perimeter of the pallet in, and let's focus on these dots now. So the one thing with the yellow dots, you're going to see this, and I believe you said these are pizza boxes, and I see you have different sizes of them. I get what you're trying to do by tying these in, but the only problem is when you tie these in, you're leaving yourself a gap on this side of the pallet that nothing's going to fit on, because it looks like after these pizza boxes come, you have bigger boxes, and you are not giving yourself enough room to put anything over there. So what I would focus on doing is on all your pizza boxes, I would focus on column stacking. Pick a front corner of your pallet and let's stack them up. I don't want them on the back corner. I want them on the front corner. So we're going to put them on the front corner running the width of our pallet, which I'm going to show you in a second here. The blue dots and red dots, what I want you to do is, so here, let's look at the blue dots and red dots. Is basically the red dots are one size case and the blue dots are another size case. So let's get to the next picture. All right, so this is the same pallet. So what I want you to focus on right now is the two cases. See your bags up here? Since you start off with bags at the beginning, I want you to focus on the next time you throw an order in this set part of the warehouse, I want you to focus on those dots, okay? The blue dots and the red dots. What two cases? From what I could see looking at your pallet, so go back to the previous picture and look at what I'm talking about, but I think one of the red dots and one of the blue dots stacked where my arrows are at are going to equal these bags up here. So you need to find out what two cases are going to equal 2 bags and what 2 cases are going to equal 3 bags. So if you get 3 bags, you know what 2 cases are going to come very close to giving you a level playing field to put these pizza boxes on top of. It's the same thing up at produce. I said you had 2 bananas equal 3 potatoes. So you're throwing this stuff all the time. You need to figure out little tricks like that. What 2 cases that you get all the time on every order, almost every single time, are going to equal 3 bags and 4 bags, just in case that's all you get. Let's say you get 3 bags. Well, I already know if I get 2 of these cases and 2 of these cases, it's going to give me a level playing field on the side of my pallet that I could column stack these pizza boxes on top of. And that's what my yellow, the red line is showing you that I think that you could be pretty darn level with the 2 red dots and the 2 blue dot cases that I was talking about. And then that yellow bar is basically your pizza boxes, and let's stack them 6 straight up. I think you had 6 or 7 of them. Let's stack them straight up on the front of that pallet, right on the corner, and then that will leave us with this. So this pallet right here, this is the same pallet. We could take that big case and we could stick it back in this corner. Will it fit? Absolutely it would, because look, your pizza boxes are right here, and they're going the width of it, and then you got that big box there. Plus we have the gap in the back from the pallet that you didn't utilize. So we could have put that box on the back corner. You want to try to get these bigger boxes on the back corner. To me, the pizza boxes are gonna, you want to put them towards the front of your pallet, so you have the mast of the jack for it to rest up against, because to me that's going to be not as stable. So let's put these big boxes back here. And also, I don't know what the contents are in these boxes, but you have different size big boxes. Are they light? What kind of contents are in them? Can you turn these on their sides? Not so much these square ones, but the other ones we're going to look at in a little bit. Can you turn any of them on their sides to utilize the pallet better? So with that being said, let's get to the next picture. Once again, guys, the yellow dots are these pizza boxes. Now these seem like they're a little bit longer. So my thing is I would have moved the red dot case. I would have took the, I like it, don't be afraid to move cases once you already throw it on your pallet. If it's going to make your pallet better, I would do that. So my red line shows that we're pretty darn even between that white case that's up front and the brown case in the back. We might have a slight slope coming down, but it's pretty freaking close to being even. So what I would have did is I would have just threw this red dot, the white case, out of the way. I would have dropped my pizza boxes down, and then I would have continued to stack them, and then we wouldn't have that huge gap of cube being wasted in the middle of this pallet. So I want you to think about that. If you focus on leveling the side of your pallet for these pizza boxes, and then column stack these pizza boxes right up the side, and then utilize the other part of your pallet for stacking all your bigger cases. I think it will really help you out a lot. All right, so this picture right here, once again, I'm just showing you that your side of your pallet, this white box on the back and your white box on the front, they look like they're pretty level. I would have not, it's pretty much all these pictures are the same. So, I mean, but once again, the yellow dots are your pizza boxes. I would have stacked them straight up the side. All right, straight up the side, put some of these bigger boxes on the other side, and I think you would have, worked out really well. I think column stacking these pizza boxes is probably going to improve your pallets a lot. So let's get on to the next picture. All right, so this one right here, the yellow arrow is pointing to the bottom. Just once again, like I said, you're not utilizing all your pallet. You're not on the back of your pallet either. You have some wood showing. We want to make sure we're all the way to the perimeter, not over the perimeter of the pallet, just right to the edge of the pallet. And my level line, when you get a lot of these flours or baking bags, they're heavy and they could definitely rock over. And you can see your back column is like sort of slanted towards your corner. So the chances of this falling over, even though it's wrapped, are actually a lot greater. So what I want you to do is where my red line's at, from what I noticed on this pallet, is you had multiple chances to tie these in. I would focus on tying your bags in, and then the top of your pallet is actually stacked pretty well. For stacking on top of bags, getting the bakery boxes that you have, I actually think you did a really good job. Let's just focus on bringing cases to the perimeter and focus on tying these bags in to give your stuff more stable base. All right, so on this picture right here, same thing with the pizza boxes. I would focus, the yellow dot is my pizza boxes as they have been. So what I would focus on is running your pizza boxes the length of the pallet at all given times. I would never run them the width of the pallet. I would focus on running them the length. And your case down here where my the bottom white arrow is, you're not out to the perimeter. So, and that's forcing your other case over here on the other side to stick out even further than what it has to. So focus on keeping these cases. If you have a case to the perimeter of the pallet and your other one's still sticking out a little bit over here, just center them so they're each sticking off a hair. But definitely focus on the perimeter of the pallet. And the other white arrow, your case is out way too far. That's too far for my likings. If it doesn't fit, don't put it there. I would focus on doing putting that somewhere else or possibly standing it upright. I don't know what kind of case it is, but like I said, I don't know what the contents are in these boxes, but if they're light and not breakable, I would definitely look at maybe turning some of these cases on their sides. So let's get to the next picture. Once again, now this picture is very well built. You did a really nice job down here building a nice square base. I don't know if this is that same pallet with the flour stacked at the back, but the front of this pallet looks really nice. And the pizza box, once again, I would focus on the length and not the width. But other than that, the front of this pallet looks good. Maybe that pallet with the bags. I don't think it is though, because I thought you had bags up front too, but the front of this pallet is very nicely stacked. Just the pizza boxes, let's run them the length. All right, so let's get to your last pallet that I want to talk about, and that's this one right here. Now, I want to show you, so this right here, I got two red lines showing you that obviously where your imaginary line should be at, and we could see that we're leaving a lot of gaps. Once again, the top boxes, I have no idea what they are. Are they cases that you could turn upright and turn on their sides and turn on their edges? I have no idea, but let's try to do that. If they're light cases and it looks like you're topped off with your pizza boxes again, let's focus on this left side. You could have probably stacked those pizza boxes straight up the left side, and then you could turn that big box on the bottom there. You could have turned it the other direction or even up on end to get it on the right side of your pallet. So I truly believe just focusing on putting your pizza boxes up to one side of your pallet is going to solve a lot of your problems. All right, so this pallet right here is the same pallet. Let's look at my yellow area down here. So what I want you to do is, so you had 3 rows and it looks like you have a couple extra bags. So there's 7 blocks, so that's 21 bags it looks like you had. So what I want you to do is, let's say you had 25 bags. Okay, so let's say we had a solid 3 rows and we had 4 extra cases. I want you to stack the 4 extra cases where my yellow area is, facing towards the middle, straight up the side, and then that'll utilize more of a flat area for these bigger boxes that come, like your bakery boxes and stuff to that nature. So I want you to focus on doing that. So once you hit 2 or whatever, however many layers of levelness with your bags, the remaining bags, stack them straight up the corner of your thing. So if it's like 4 or less, I wouldn't go 5. I would go 4 or less, stack them straight up the corner, and that gives you more of a level area to stack on. Also, your bags or your boxes, white boxes in the back, as you can see from my red line, are not all the way to the perimeter of the pallet. Another thing I want you to do with these bags is that if you put a white box on the edge, so here's your bag and you put a white box down, let's say it's leaning like this, just punch a little bit of the contents of that bag and then put your box back on there. It'll level out. Like literally just hitting these, like right where the edge of your box is. I karate chop them, I punch them, I slap them, I do whatever I have to do to get the contents level in that bag. That's one thing that's beautiful about these bags, is that you can move the contents around. So if I put a box down that's leaning, I just punch it a little bit and it'll come back in again. It might seem stupid, but it actually works. So focus on that. My right side is just showing you the gap between the arrow and the red line where it should be. Honestly, the top of your pizza boxes up here too, like I said, I would definitely focus on stacking up the straight of your pallet. But if you had to top off your pallet with these pizza boxes, it doesn't matter that it comes in a little bit because you're not stacking anything else on top of it. But yeah, so honestly, that's the last of the pictures. Focus on starting at the perimeter of the pallet. Don't leave any wood showing. Focus on building these pizza boxes straight up the side, the length of the pallet, not the width. And start maybe turning some of these bigger boxes on their sides if you have to. And like I said with the bags, you know, you don't want to put 2 full layers of bags and then have 4 with a little gap at the end. You know, let's stack them up the front when you get to like maybe 3 or 4 bags. And then also focus on how many bags equal to your boxes or whatever. You start throwing these cases every day, you start knowing what boxes are always going to come. So if I only have 3 bags, what 2 boxes equal 3 bags? What 2 boxes equal 2 bags? That's what I would do. And if I only get 1 bag, I would just throw it on my forks or my back pallet and throw it on at a later time. So I don't have 1 bag sitting at the bottom of my pallet. I hope this all makes sense. I hope this helps you out. Any questions, please, you can message me on Discord, or better yet, just start putting your comments and questions on Discord so you get multiple answers. So I hope this helps you. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.